Hi, Stella here from North Star Crochet, and today I'm going to show you how I do the magic circle myself. There is a few different variations of it on my Facebook page, but this is how I generally do it. So I'm going to show you first right-handed, and then I'm going to show you left-handed. So we've got the ball of yarn here. That's going to be your working end, and then from the working end you've got this tail here, and that's what we call the tail end. Okay, so if I'm doing right-handed first, I'm going to hold this yarn in my left hand, and it's the tail end that's going to be gracing your palm. So your palm's up and the tail end is just crossing your palm there. You're then going to pinch that tail end to your finger just to hold it in place, and then with the working end you're going to wrap it round these first two fingers there. So when you wrap it round, I want you to wrap it round, going round to the front and then coming back round to the back. When you go around the back, I want you to cross it so you've got an X at the back there. Okay, now when you go around a second time, I want you to bring this third finger into play. So the first time we've gone round, we've gone to the first two fingers. This next time we go around, we're going to go around the third finger as well. So we're going around all three fingers. And then when we bring it back round to the back again, I'm just going to tuck that and pinch it with my thumb with the tail end, just so it's not going anywhere. And the idea is you're not going to wrap it too tightly, so you can actually just separate your fingers slightly so it's not too tight. So you've got your X at the back in the palm, and then when you turn it around to the front, near the tip of your fingers you're going to have the shorter line, and then towards the knuckles you've got it round three of your fingers. Okay, so that's what it should look like. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook and you're going to face the hook head, that's that bit there, you're going to face it down. So it's facing towards your fingers. You're going to go underneath that first loop and then come above, and you're going to hook the second line. That's what it looks like from the top, from the side. So you've gone under the first line of yarn and then hooked the second line of yarn, and then you're going to bring that through. Now that you've brought it through, you're going to point your hook down to the ground. You're then going to twist it round, so you're making a loop on your hook, and you've pointed it back up to the ceiling now. Okay, so you've got a loop on your hook. Now that loop may be slightly tight, so what you want to do is just pull it away from your fingers a little bit. Just pull it that way, away from your fingers, so it's giving that a bit of gap. And then when you release it again, that loop is a bit looser, just so you can get a stitch through that loop, and it's gliding nicely over your hook there. Now around this third finger, that yarn that went around your third finger is your working yarn. So with that working yarn, we're going to go ahead and yarn over. So you're pushing the yarn away from you, hooking it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull that yarn over through the hoop that's already on your hook, like so. Now you're going to take your fingers out, and that is your magic circle. So you should have your tail end at the front, and your magic circle is there. If you pull on your tail end now, it will make that magic circle smaller. You're not going to close it entirely because you'll be working your stitches into this magic circle. Okay, but you don't want it too large. You just want it big enough to be able to fit your hook in and enough stitches for your pattern. And that is your magic circle right-handed. Now I'm going to do it left-handed. Right, so if you're left-handed and you're doing the magic circle, you want to be holding it in your less dominant hand. So you're going to hold it hold the working end there, sorry, the tail end in your palm facing upwards with your right hand. You're then going to pinch the yarn against your finger, so it's just holding that yarn in place so it's not going anywhere. Then what you're going to do is hold the working end and you're going to wrap it around these 2 fingers first. So when you wrap it around the back, at the front and round to the back, you're going to make an X at the back. Remember not to hold your fingers too tightly or to wrap it too tightly. You want to be able to separate your fingers slightly. So you've made an X at the back. Now you're bringing this 3rd finger into play and you're going to wrap it round all 3 fingers then. And then you're going to pinch that in the same place that you're pinching your tail end and just let that fall. So at the back you've got your X, and then at the front you should have your shorter yarn towards the tips of your fingers and the longer piece of yarn towards your knuckles. Okay, so that's what it should be looking like. You're then going to take your hook. Again, the hook head should be facing down, so when you look at it from the side it's facing your fingers. You're then going to go underneath the first line of yarn and then hook it over the second piece of yarn. You're going to drag that through. After you've dragged it through, you're going to point it to the ground, the head, like so. You're then going to twist your hook so it makes a loop on your hook. Now that loop might be slightly tight, so you want to pull it away from your fingers, the hook, let it glide out a little bit just to give it a bit of leeway so it glides smoothly over your hook. And the idea is you're going to yarn over and pull through that loop on your hook, so you don't want it too tight. So the 3rd finger there is where your working yarn is. So you want to yarn over, which means push the yarn away, wrap it around the hook, hook that yarn underneath the head, and then you're going to pull it through the loop that's on your hook. You have to bear with me because I'm not left-handed, so trying. There we go. And then you're going to take your fingers out, and that is your magic circle. Again, your tail end should be at the front towards the hook head, and when you're working your stitches into the magic circle, you're going to be working around the tail end and the magic circle for your stitches. Okay, again, you can pull down on your tail end to make the magic circle smaller. It only needs to be small enough to get your hook through, and you're going to be working around that magic circle. And that is it, both left-handed and right-handed. Enjoy and good crocheting.